Hi friends, it's Star Thrifter and I have a thrift haul to share with you today. We'll get right on to it. These are items that I'll be listing on eBay and Poshmark. And write in the comments how your sales have been going. At the end of this, I'll talk about the slow sales issue in regards to eBay. These are pretty much just like bread and butter items. This first item, I bought it because it's a wrap dress. And sometimes wrap dresses will sell even if it's not a spectacular brand or style. And this is actually apartment 9. I try not to pick that brand up very often, but it's a 2X. However, I have found that with plus size dresses, they're harder to sell than smaller sizes. That's how it's been for me. Write in the comments how it's been for you. But that's what I have noticed, that they just kind of sit. Anyhow. Here's a pair of shorts, and I normally don't pick up, well, no, this one's not too bad. There are some pieces in LL Bean that I pick up. They're outerwear. Some of it can sell for quite a bit of money. This is just a pair of shorts, but it's a size 18 women's, and I thought I'd give it a try because they're made very nicely, and they're just the basic, khaki canvas type shorts for women. These would be a pair of women's. And I thought, well, I'll give it a try. These items I got for $1. There could be an exception here or there, but I don't remember if I paid up for it or what pieces I paid up for, but I'll know as I go along. If you could do me a favor and subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. I've been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I got a lot of videos up, and I would just really appreciate it. This is an H&M, and I don't pick this brand up very much. Even sometimes when it's brand new with tags, it's hard to sell. But I thought this was kind of interesting. Got it for $1. It is new with tags because it's like this very neat looking style. Now, to me, this kind of reminds me of, it's very classic, retro, some of the keywords I'd be using, old money. To me, it reminds me of kind of the 70s, 60s, 70s look type thing. City, maybe, I'll think of some keywords. It seems now that on eBay and Poshmark and the other platforms that you're listing on. Oh, that's another thing I need to mention now. I have started listing on Depop. I've had 2 sales, but I only list certain things over there. If it's something kind of newer, younger, trendy, then I, list it over there. I don't know if any of these, maybe the H&M I might list over there, probably because it's new with tags. This is a dress, and I stopped picking up White House Black Market for quite a while. But some pieces can sell. This happens to be just like a shift dress. And hopefully there's not an issue with the zipper. I think it'll be all right. But anyhow, this is a size 6. And it is just a, sheath like type dress. I thought maybe, some of the keywords I'll be using on this will be professional, corp, core, classic, elegant, old money. Maybe things like that. This next item, I picked up a lot of Sue's Engraver, and I wasn't picking that up for quite a while, and I picked up quite a few pieces more lately, and it's been selling. It's the liquid knit pieces particularly, and that's where it's kind of like that real thicker, heavier, slinky material. This is one of the liquid knits. You want to use that in your title. I put it sometimes in the item, under the item descriptions under theme, and you want to make sure that you have the liquid knit because people look for that. It's not a real fast seller, but they, some of the tops have been selling between, the range would be probably between $15 and $20. But this is a dress. I don't know how great this will do, and this is a bigger, I should put my glasses on, or broad pair of glasses I could use. This is actually, I think it's an extra large tall. I have to get my glasses on to see, but it's just a, kind of a, what do you really call this? This isn't really a wrap dress, but it kind of looks like a false wrap. Might use that. Anyhow, but it's the liquid knit. The only thing is with these, especially this piece, is it's heavier. This liquid knit is heavier. You're going to have to charge more for shipping. And this piece for sure will be over a pound. And This piece is another Susan Graver, and this really isn't exactly the liquid knit. And sometimes I'll even put in the title not liquid knit, or put it somewhere in the description or something if it's not the liquid knit, because I had a lady buy a piece from me and it was mixed media, where it was partially liquid knit and partially not, like two different types of fabric. And she threw a fit at first, and I explained to her, I said, not all Susan Graver is liquid knit, and because I have some other pieces that are not that same type of material. And she ended up, I told her she could return, she's happy, she could return it, but she didn't, hasn't. This is a Susan Graver. This is an extra small. I kind of like to go with the bigger pieces, but isn't this beautiful? Look at the color on that. I mean, it looks even brighter on there, but and it's got like the sparkly, it's not exactly sequin, but it kind of is. And anyhow, keywords I use with this is liquid knit, mature, artsy, city. Those are some of the keywords I use for the Susan Graver stuff. This is very pretty, very whimsical. Cachet. This does all right. Some pieces can sell kind of decent, but I find that it kind of sits for a while. But look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Very pretty. You could probably use some keywords, maybe like cottage core, whimsical, fairy, whimsy, things like that. And it's not silk, it's a polyester, but I thought it was very pretty. And we'll give that a try. Here's another Susan Graver, and this is, I think, a small. Now, this is the liquid knit. And they usually have some kind of neat prints. I was listening to some yesterday, and I thought, no wonder people like this brand, this liquid knit, because it doesn't wrinkle at all. And it's, you could take it, for like travel, be a really great piece for like traveling, or, just pulling it out of your closet and putting it on, especially if you work in an office or something like that. No wonder people really like it. They got some really cute, kind of styles to it. But it is, I think more of a mature brand. Here's another Susan Graver. This is a small. This is not the liquid knit, not really. This is more of it. Well, it kind of is, but it's thinner if it, is considered the liquid knit. I'll have to maybe note that or something. I'll have to note that if I list it as a liquid knit. And told you I had a bunch of Susan Graver, and I listed some last night. Here's another. Here's a small. Another one. But, for a long time, I didn't, wasn't picking up this brand. Like I said, they don't sell real quickly or for a ton of money, but it is something that does sell. Here's a pair of pants. These are a pair of men's, and these Lee Extreme Comfort sometimes can sell in like I think they have them like in the jeans, or like more in like the chinko pants that are like khaki. I don't know how they'll do, with it being this, but these are really actually more of a performance type pant. They're not going to sell for a ton or for a lot of money, but I pick up very few things in that brand. But they're, nice color. Hopefully they'll sell. Like I said, this is very much bread and butter thrift. This is a J. Crew. I don't pick up a lot of J. Crew. I look at the style, the year on the style tag, and if it's a newer piece. But there are exceptions, like the Caroline sweater. Even if it's older, I will pick that up. It's a cardigan sweater. In some of the prints. This one, I don't have my glasses on. But I looked it up when I was at the store, or looked at it. I think it says holiday of 24. That means, it's pretty new. It is just a flannel, but it's actually it's almost like cropped. And it looks, let's see, if this is a size small, it's kind of oversized. You want to make sure if something is oversized, I'll have to measure it to see if it is. But if you have something that is oversized, you want to make sure you have that in your title, in your description, because I guess that's still kind of popular. Oversized, boxy, things like that, maybe relaxed, sometimes they use, but the oversized. And that completes the thrift for today. But in regards to the slow sales, I compared my 2024 end of the year with this is eBay. to the 2025, and it was almost down 50%. 50% difference in the sales. And that would be in my net before like my cost of goods and my taxes and things like that are taken out. I would say from the first of the year till now, it's been down almost like 75% from 2024. In 2024 wasn't extremely spectacular. I have seen this decline with eBay. Now, I was listing less because sales really slowed down. And I slowed down on buying the items because, you know, you're spending that money out there. That is going to affect it some. But there's just been this, you know, but now I've been trying to list again. And what's interesting is I know that the economy and different things like that can play a part of it. But Poshmark has stayed, well, I'll have to double check. I didn't check the 24 to 25 end of the year. I don't think on the Poshmark. I'll have to check that. But just overall, it's been about the same. But one thing I will state is I've been having sometimes more sales on Poshmark than on eBay. And that's not cool because Poshmark's always been a fraction of what I would sell on eBay. eBay was the biggest platform. I really think Whatnot has been a huge thing in competition for eBay. I'm not saying it's just that, but there's been a lot of things. I promote and I run sales, and you know, there's just a lot of things. And now you can go to where you're just starting to thrift, where you just do the very you know, high sell-through rate type things. But when you go to the thrift store, write in the comments, how many things do you find each time that you go? I only find a small percent. Then you got to make sure whatever they priced it for is still going to be profitable. And that is great, you know, to try to pick up. And I would suggest trying to pick up stuff that does have a higher sell-through rate, because a lot of the minimal range or the low range things are probably just not going to sell or move that quickly. However, on eBay, the stuff that has been still selling is just average pieces. I have stuff that's got, you know, more of the trendy things. I have things that are the higher priced items or the higher, you know, high end brands and things like that. And they've been sitting. I have had a Frank and Eileen shirt listed for I don't even know if it's getting close to a year. And I had it listed for a lot of money. It was just a button up. I think it's called the Berry shirt. Button up. I think it's plaid, long sleeve, you know, type shirt. I think I had listed really high for probably like 99. I don't know where it's at now. I probably got it around 69, 59. I don't even know. It's still sitting. And it's, you know, in nice shape. It's not like something that has issues that I remember. But I mean, that's just an example. Anyhow, write in the comments how your sales have been going. If you could do me a favor and push the thumbs up button, I'd greatly appreciate that. Many prosperous sales to you. Have a great day. Thank you.